I had been at my favorite hangout spot for about half an hour. The waitress had just brought me my second drink and cleared away the empty glass. I was here to do some thinking. Something didn't feel right at home, and I couldn't figure out why. When you need to contemplate, alcohol always seems to help. Lately, my wife Beth had been acting differently. When I tried talking to her about it, she shut me down. She started complaining a lot about our finances, which I couldn't understand considering we were doing well. We had everything we needed and more. We were worth nearly $5 million, and yet she acted like we were barely getting by. It's strange how she didn't appreciate the country club membership I got her half a year ago. I'm sure you're thinking what I was thinking too. The most logical explanation is that she's having an affair. There were a couple of issues with that theory. First, we didn't have a contract that would protect me in a divorce. Second, I had no evidence of her cheating. Just then, I took a sip of my second drink when I spotted her walking into the bar. No, it wasn't my wife. She was supposedly out with her friends tonight. I didn't know who this woman was, but she was truly stunning. All eyes in the bar turned to watch as she quickly glanced around before making her way towards me. She slid into the booth across from me without saying a word. She looked me over for a moment before speaking. "Adam Colton?" she asked, and I nodded in response. The waitress, Brandy, hurried over and took her order for a glass of white grape juice. "My name is Alyssa Holmes. I have some information for you that I think you should know about. I also have a suggestion on how to handle it." "All right," I replied. "What's this information going to cost me?" She smiled. "It won't cost you a thing. In fact, if you accept my proposal, it might even help you keep most of your belongings." "All right, what information do you have firstly? Your wife is being unfaithful to you, and how do you know that? Do you have any proof?" "I know because she is having an affair with my brother. I have photos, videos, and voice recordings, along with signed statements as evidence. I'm willing to provide all of it to you." "Wow. You must really dislike your brother to expose him like that." Her grin filled the entire bar. "Actually, it's quite the opposite. I'm actually here on his behalf. He sent me to keep your wife occupied while we talked. I'm confused. If he's stealing her away from me, why would he help me? I've read stories about cheating spouses blindsiding their partners so they can't prepare or fight back. By giving me advance notice, I can start preparing and safeguarding my wealth to minimize what I have to give her. Isn't that counterproductive for him? Normally, yes. This situation is different. You see, we don't want you to rush into a divorce with this information. By all means, take the opportunity to protect your assets and do what you need to do. Just don't file for a divorce. Don't even let her know that you suspect her of cheating. Let us handle the divorce. We will have her file, asking for very little from you. How will you make that happen?" Gloria loves money, so I doubt she'd just give up on half of our assets or substantial alimony. She flashed a smile that could brighten up the darkest room. "All right, here's what you need to know. My brother is a genuinely good person. When he started his relationship with your wife, he had no idea she was married. In fact, she made advances on him. It was only 2 weeks ago that he found out about you through a background check. It took another week to gather enough evidence to confirm that she was not planning to leave you. The evidence also showed that she was only interested in marrying up. You have a decent amount of money, but we have significantly more, a lot more. Our findings indicate that you are worth approximately $164 million. That includes the 1968 GTO that you're about to buy for around $10,000 less than its actual value." She noticed the surprise on my face. "Yes, our information is extremely detailed. When you're in our league, it's important to be cautious about who you're dealing with. We also discovered that you're a genuinely honest and good-natured person. That's why we chose this approach. All right, you seem to have more information about me than I have about you. Yes, I understand. I've given you my name. My brother's name is Brad Holmes. A quick search on the internet should provide enough background information on us to answer any questions. You're welcome to hire a private investigator to check us out as well. Feel free to send us the bill if you'd like. Okay, I'll need to look into things before I make any commitments. So what's this plan? You have one more thing you should know. Brad was married once before. His ex-wife was a gold digger. He caught her cheating on him. Luckily, their prenuptial agreement included severe consequences for infidelity. She basically walked away with next to nothing. Because of that experience, Brad despises cheaters and gold diggers. He's usually a really nice guy, but he can be ruthless when someone tries to take advantage of him. So for the next couple of months, he'll keep leading her on. Eventually, he'll persuade her to file for divorce from you so they can get married. One of the conditions, however, is that she asks for nothing from you. He'll convince her that she doesn't need your assets because he's worth over $500 million. In about 2 months, he'll propose to her. She'll have to reveal that she's still legally married to you. According to the emails she sent to one of her friends, she plans to portray your relationship as one that has already ended a long time ago, claiming that you've been unfaithful throughout the marriage. When you threaten to fight the divorce, Brad will persuade her to give you everything to expedite the process and allow them to get married quickly. You get to keep everything while she gets nothing. Once the final divorce decree is issued, Brad will confront her about the lies she told him. He'll explain that he can't trust a woman who cheated on her husband. He'll break up with her and leave her with nothing. It sounds like I have nothing to lose, everything to gain here. Even if everything you're telling me is false, I can still protect myself by safeguarding my assets and getting ready to divorce her. I still want the information you have, and I would like to meet Brad too. Since he apparently didn't know she was married, I don't hold any ill feelings towards him, so you don't need to worry about any confrontations. If he's as good of a person as you say, and if your story is true, maybe we can even become friends. That captivating smile reappeared. You're a good man, Adam Colton. I think you and Brad will get along just fine with that. She finished her grape juice, got up, and exited the bar. I'd like to thank everyone for this amazing honor. Nah, that didn't happen. But the next 2 months should have earned me an Oscar. Of course, she never reciprocated. I didn't mind. I did manage to meet Alyssa and Brad for a long lunch a couple of weeks later. I also had dinner with Alyssa a few times when Gloria was elsewhere with Brad. Gloria and I turned into more like roommates than a married couple. Alyssa, I hate to say this, but I think we should take a step back for now. I told her during dinner a little over a month since she found me in the bar. Really? We're having such a good time, she replied. Yeah, that's precisely why we should take a break. We're getting along a little too well right now. I'm not like Gloria. I'm a loyal person, committed to one woman. I can't compromise my values by starting a new relationship while I'm still connected to someone else. Also, I care deeply for you and don't want to taint what we may have by sinking to her level and jumping into another relationship before my current marriage is completely over. Alyssa let out a heavy sigh. I understand. You're a good man, Adam. I admire your principles and sense of right and wrong. That's one of the things I appreciate most about you, and maybe the main reason why I'm falling in love with you. Forget about Gloria. She's too clueless to figure things out anyway. Fine, we'll take a step back for a while, but I won't wait any longer than I have to. Let's finish dinner, and then you can take me dancing. Once you drop me off at home, I'll call Brad to proceed. It's a month earlier than planned, but Gloria is too naive to suspect anything. Seriously? What kind of an idiotic person is she to throw away a great husband like you? Alyssa loved to dance, and she moved gracefully on the dance floor during the fast songs. It's a miracle I didn't embarrass myself that night. Even though it was clear we were together, several men came over to our table during a break, asking her to dance. It was quite amusing. Are you completely ignorant of basic manners, or are you intentionally being rude? Firstly, I would never consider dancing with someone like you, who didn't have the courtesy to ask the gentleman I'm so obviously with for permission. You came over here acting like you're God's gift to humanity, but when in reality, you're just an arrogant jerk who probably couldn't find a woman's heart with a map, GPS, and a guidebook. After that hopeful admirer quietly walked away, a few brave individuals did approach and kindly asked if I would allow them to dance with her. I responded that she could dance with them if she wanted to. Alyssa always politely declined, explaining that she was saving all her dances just for me. Alyssa captured my heart when I walked her to her door that night. She turned around and hugged me. It felt like our souls were connecting as we lost ourselves in that tender moment. Finally, we pulled apart, both of us catching our breath. You have no idea how much I want to bring you inside with me, she said, panting. Probably about as much as I want to pick you up and carry you inside, I replied. But it wouldn't feel right, and I don't want us to end up regretting it. Let's wait and do everything the right way. You and your strong sense of morality, she smiled. Why did I have to fall in love with someone so honorable? Alyssa, the day my divorce papers are official, I'll be at your doorstep, down on one knee with a ring in one hand and a signed agreement in the other. I'm not here for your money. Even if things go south and I have to give most of my assets to that unfaithful person, I'll still have enough of my own. I love you, Alyssa. That's all that truly matters to me. My ring size is 6.5. Don't bother with the agreement. I had my lawyer prepare it 2 weeks ago. Just share your lawyer's contact information, and I'll have my lawyer send him a copy for you a week later. It happened. No. Not Alyssa and I getting together. It was a Friday evening. I arrived home from work to find Gloria and Brad sitting on the couch. Brad's smirk and a subtle nod told me everything. Honey, Gloria began, we need to talk. Seeing the scene, I had a pretty good idea of what was going on. It also helped that Alyssa had warned me about it earlier that day. The setup consisted of Gloria and Brad sitting close together on the couch. There were 2 glasses of wine and a partially empty bottle on the coffee table. Additionally, there was a manila envelope placed on the table. Just as I expected, I walked over to the couch and extended my hand. Hello, I'm Adam, I said. I noticed you're drinking wine, but I'm more of a craft beer person. I'll go get myself a beer. Do you prefer wine or would you like a beer too? Nice to meet you, Adam. I'm Brad. I'd actually prefer a beer if you don't mind. Thank you, he responded. A couple of minutes later, I returned with the beers. Being a good host, I opened them right in front of them to assure them I hadn't done anything to them. We clicked the bottle tops together and took a sip before sitting down Brad back on the couch and me in my recliner. So I began. What is it that we need to talk about? Well, Adam, Gloria began. This might come as a shock, but I want a divorce. It wasn't intentional, but Brad and I just fell in love. We're meant to be. I'm sorry about this, but our marriage hasn't been great for a while. And then I met Brad. It just happened. Now it's better for both of us to end things so that Brad and I can start building a new life together. She managed a few sniffs and tears. She was quite convincing with her act of a sorrowful wife. Well, Gloria, this is surprising to me. Yes, we've had some problems, mainly because you've been distant. I've asked you many times what's wrong and how I can help, but you never responded. I've tried to do more for you, take you on romantic dates, but you always had other plans. I've bought you flowers, but you ignored them. You never shared any concerns or suggestions to help fix our issues. I even offered counseling, but you refused to go. You mentioned Brad as your soulmate, but you said I was your soulmate when we got married. If there were problems in our marriage, you should have talked to me first so we could have worked on it together instead of seeking another lover. Now, instead of working with your husband to fix our marriage, you surprise me with divorce papers. I'm not convinced that we can't still fix things, no, Adam. It's too late for that. Here are the papers. I'm being fair with splitting our assets. Assets? You lie and cheat on me while using the money I earn on yourself, and you think you deserve to be compensated for that? I work so hard to provide you with a wonderful life, and in return, you betray me and cast me aside. That's absurd. Good luck getting the divorce you want anytime soon. If I have to pay you anything, it will be close to nothing. I'm hiring the most expensive legal team to drag this out and drain as much money as possible, so by the time it's all over in a couple of years, there won't be anything left to pay you. That's when Brad made his pitch. Okay, Adam. Look, I'm sorry about this. When we first got together, I didn't even know she was still married. By the time I found out, we had already fallen madly in love with each other. It's clear that while you still love Gloria, she no longer loves you. I understand your position here. The bottom line is that Gloria no longer wants to be married to you. No matter how hard you fight it, as you said, the divorce will eventually go through. By fighting it, all you will do is give the lawyers most of your assets. Sure, that will reduce what you will need to pay her, but it will also cause you to lose almost everything yourself. There is no need for that. Since we plan to get married as soon as the divorce is final, there will be no need for you to pay any spousal maintenance. Also, I am a very wealthy man, so Gloria really won't need to take any of your assets. In fact, anything that she would get from the divorce would only be a small portion compared to the wealth that she would be getting when she marries me. How about this? You keep the house free and clear. You keep your retirement, all savings and investments, and half of what is in the checking account. She walks away with half of the money in the checking account, all her clothes, personal possessions, and her car. Honestly, she really won't need anything else after we get married. Fine, I grudgingly agreed, except that she returns her wedding and engagement rings as well as all the jewelry that I inherited from my family. I also want the expensive jewelry that we keep in the safety deposit box. I bought that under the assumption that we would eventually pass it down to our kids and grandkids as heirlooms. Brad turned to Gloria. Remember that we discussed this. We are hurting him enough by what we have already done. It's better to get it over with quickly so we can get married and begin our new life sooner. You're right, Brad. I won't need any of his money after we get married anyway. Let's get the new papers drawn up and filed. With that, we toasted our agreement and they left. Now, I know that some of you out there will think that I'm a heartless person that only left a couple dollars in the joint checking account. You would be wrong. Doing that might make her suspicious. We normally try to keep about $10, but 000 in the account. I left that alone. She had several designer dresses, expensive shoes, and other accessories. Most people don't realize it, but they give away a big chunk of change when they ignore their partner's closets in a divorce. On the retail market, Gloria had close to $60,000 worth of clothes. There is a pretty good market for high-quality used women's clothes in the online market. Sure, you can't get full retail price, but you can get at least 50% to 75% of it. Her car was a 1-year-old Lexus that we had paid cash for. That still had a lot of value in it. Her retirement really wasn't much. It probably totaled a couple $1,000s, and she wouldn't be able to touch that for a couple more decades. It was a week later that my lawyer and I met them in her lawyer's office. He stressed that he was strongly advising his client against the proposed division of assets. It was basically 90% to me and 10% to Gloria. It doesn't matter. Once the divorce is final, Brad and I will be married. That will eliminate the alimony, and I won't need any of the other assets anyway. Gloria said, I just want this over as quickly as possible so I can move on with my life. We signed all the papers, and he had his paralegal notarize everything. Now, it was just a 60-day waiting game until the final decree was given. In the meantime, Alyssa and I got to know each other a lot better. Most of our free time was spent together. No, we didn't engage in any inappropriate activities. God knows we both had those desires, and we came close more than a few times, but we decided to wait until the final divorce decree arrived. Brad and Gloria also continued their relationship. She even moved in with him full-time. Brad, Alyssa, and I made and refined our plans for the finale. The 60-day waiting period had passed. I had received the final notice in the mail the day before. The monster 455 CI engine was rumbling as I idled up to the valet parking in front of the mansion. I pushed in the clutch, shifted the Borg-Warner 4-speed into neutral, and applied the parking brake. Stepping out, I smoothed the lapels on my new tuxedo. I really needed to make a great impression. After all, I was now free of a cheating spouse and about to enter the next phase of my life. I did a quick pat in my jacket to verify that what I needed was still safely tucked away in the inside pocket. With that done, I turned towards the early 20s guy that hurried up beside me to the jealous looks from his coworkers. She has a really stiff clutch. Be smooth and gentle with her, I advised as he respectfully climbed into my 1968 GTO. I had spent the last month finishing her. Now that I no longer had a spouse spending all my money on unnecessary items, I could afford to spend some cash on things I really wanted. I just got her back from the paint shop 2 days ago. I had an ear-to-ear smile as I strode up the steps and into the mansion. This was about to be an incredible night. Just before walking through the open door, I caught a glimpse of the next arrival. This would take the night from simply incredible to completely unforgettable. I simply couldn't contain my laughter. So, you are a bit confused. That isn't surprising. I was attending a divorce party. It was being held to celebrate the final divorce decree between Gloria and me. I had an official invitation to attend. No, I wasn't crashing Gloria's party. This was all part of the plan. The party was at Dave's mansion. While it was far from a surprise party, there would be several surprises throughout the evening. It was a very high-class affair, intending to introduce a new member into Dave and Alyssa's social circle. Gloria had been looking forward to this for the last 2 months, ever since the planning for it had begun. I had no sooner walked through the door when Alyssa had approached me. Her left arm slipped through the crook in my right arm, and we were off. You couldn't have wiped the smile from my face. She began leading me around the room and introducing me to the influential people in society. We were halfway around the large ballroom when it happened. "What is he doing here?" I heard a very familiar voice exclaim. Alyssa and I were suddenly face to face with Gloria and Dave. Needless to say, Gloria was not pleased to see me at her special night. Not only was I the ex-spouse that she had just separated from, but it would be very awkward when her new partner proposed to her in front of me so soon after our divorce. "I'm sorry, Gloria," Dave began. "But it seems as if my sister and your ex-spouse have become quite close." I couldn't very well refuse her inviting her significant other, as the invitation did include a +1. Whatever. Gloria huffed. Then looking at me, she continued, "Just don't make a scene and ruin this wonderful night for me." Gloria, I assure you that in honor of the several wonderful years that we have had together, I will be on my best behavior. I understand how much this night means to you, and I will do my best to ensure that you will be able to look back on this night as the night that you began the rest of your life. I cared for you deeply for years, Gloria. I will do my best to ensure that tonight propels you directly into the new life that you deserve. Hey, is it my fault that she misinterpreted what I said? I didn't lie. So, her beaming smile indicated that she thought that my words were kind. Was that my fault? It was 3 hours later. Dinner had been finished and cleaned up. The band had been playing for a while. There was lots of dancing. I was out in the middle of the dance floor with Alyssa. Of course, it had been a total setup. The couples around us had subtly moved a bit away to give us room. It was the middle of the song. Suddenly, the spotlight hit us. I did 2 quick spins, then dropped to my knee with the ring in my hand. Alyssa, since you came into my life, you have taken over every thought that I have had. You helped me through the most difficult situation that I could ever think of having. You are the first thought I have when I wake up in the morning, and the last thought I have before falling asleep at night. I simply can't envision going through the rest of my life without you. Will you do me the honor of becoming my spouse? Of course, she said yes. Seriously, people. We had planned this all out previously. I had already signed the prenup agreement. That just led to Gloria being even more upset that we had captured the attention of what was supposed to have been her night. The night turned from her divorce party to Alyssa's and my engagement party. It finally came to a head a couple hours later. Brad, we were supposed to get married right after my divorce was final. It's final now, so why did your sister just get engaged to my ex-husband? But you haven't even gotten me my ring yet. We haven't even started planning our wedding. Gloria confronted Brad right in the center of all the influential people in society that she had so desperately wanted to be a part of. Well, it's like this, Gloria. I've gotten to know Adam quite well over the last few months that he's been dating my sister. He's a really great guy, and we've become rather good friends. It occurred to me that if you could so easily betray a great guy like him, who gave you nothing but love, what's to stop you from betraying me? After all, it was you that came on to me. You even lied to me in the beginning about being single. Once you had to admit that you were married, you made it seem like you were separated and headed for a divorce anyway. After talking to Adam about the situation, I found out that you were lying about that as well. There's absolutely no possible way that I could marry someone I can't trust. In fact, I'm ending our relationship. I'll give you a week to find a new place to live before I politely ask you to leave. Now, if you will excuse me, there are a couple single ladies over there that I believe I will go and talk to. Brad replied. Epilogue. Oh, she did try to fight it. She came back with a vengeance to try and amend the divorce settlement. The problem was that there was simply too much evidence against her that showed that she willingly, and in fact, insisted upon that completely unfair division of assets. The judge didn't look favorably on her when she came back and tried to amend the divorce that she insisted upon. Alyssa and I did get married. Yes, there was a well-drafted prenuptial agreement. I should know after all. I had my own lawyer write it up. Alyssa thought that it was too strict, but I had already signed it. I really wasn't after her money. No, I wasn't in their class, but I had enough of my own money to take care of myself if anything went wrong. I did send Gloria a nice wedding announcement. It had a nice picture of Alyssa and me in it. It also had Brad and Gloria's sister being close in the background. Okay, so I did that on purpose. I wasn't, however, responsible for the wedding invitation 6 months later between Brad and Gloria's younger sister. Gloria did not attend. No, Gloria did not become homeless. She ended up working at Taco Bell and living in a small studio apartment. She now buys her clothes at Goodwill. In her attempt to upgrade her lifestyle, she lost the comfortable life that she had been accustomed to. She is still attractive, but the news got out at what she attempted to do. She did try a few more times to pursue one of the well-to-do single men in town, but they all knew what she was after. I saw Gloria again about a year later. Alyssa and I were coming back from dinner at an excellent Italian restaurant on the other side of town. That looks like Gloria, Alyssa said as she pointed at a street corner. Sure enough, when I looked over, there was Gloria. She was leaning up against a building. Her hair was styled, but not perfectly. Her outfit was revealing, but not overly provocative. It was easy to see that she was not dressed modestly. I deduced that the reason that she was leaning against the building was that walking in the heels she was wearing must be rather difficult. I was actually surprised that I could even recognize her with the heavy makeup she was wearing. Understanding the intricacies of the situation with Gloria required no special insight. The neighborhood itself was a telltale sign, notorious as it was for hosting a particular kind of commerce. As we navigated its streets, the presence of other individuals, similarly attired and engaging in comparable activities, was unmistakable. Both women and, it could be presumed, a few men patrolled the sidewalks, their intentions clear to the casual observer. On this particular evening, Alyssa and I found ourselves momentarily stationary at a traffic light, affording us a front-row view to the unfolding scene. It was here that another piece of the puzzle fell into place. A vehicle, nondescript and seemingly benign, made a leisurely right turn at the intersection, only to come to a halt at the curb directly ahead of us. Gloria, who until that moment had been another pedestrian on the sidewalk, approached the car with purpose. As the passenger side window descended, a silent exchange commenced between Gloria and the car's occupants. Even from our vantage point, the interaction was clearly not that of acquaintances catching up, but rather one of negotiation. The nature of their conversation, while not audible, was unmistakably transactional. Following what appeared to be a mutually satisfactory agreement, a notable shift in dynamics occurred. The car's passenger door swung open, and the previously seated passenger emerged, making room. With an efficiency born of routine, the passenger's seat was adjusted forward, allowing Gloria and the man to occupy the space behind. The door's closure signified the conclusion of their arrangement, and the vehicle seamlessly rejoined the flow of traffic, disappearing into the night. This series of events, so stark in its ordinariness within this part of town, left Alyssa and me in a state of amusement. Our laughter was not one of mockery, but of recognition, a tacit acknowledgement of the complexities and unexpected moments that life often presents. Our mirth was a reflection on the broader tableau of human interaction and the diverse circumstances that bring people together. It was a moment of levity in the face of life's often unpredictable and multifaceted nature. This scene, playing out in a neighborhood known for its nocturnal commerce, served as a reminder of the myriad paths that life's journey can take. Observing Gloria's interaction, it was evident that the exchanges occurring in this part of town were part of a larger narrative. This area, with its own set of unspoken rules and understandings, operated on the fringes of conventional society, yet it was undeniably a part of the urban tapestry. The individuals who frequented these streets, whether as participants or observers, contributed to the neighborhood's unique ecosystem. In witnessing this brief encounter, Alyssa and I were reminded of the diverse roles that people assume in their quest for survival and connection. Gloria's engagement in this environment was but one facet of her complex existence. It was a role played out against the backdrop of societal expectations and personal circumstances. The car that briefly intersected with Gloria's path was a vessel of transaction, a mobile domain where agreements were made and acted upon. Its arrival and departure were punctuated by the simplicity of routine, a dance of necessity and opportunity that played out night after night on these streets. Our laughter, shared in the aftermath of the car's departure, was more than a reaction to the scene before us. It was an acknowledgement of the unpredictability of life and the various ways individuals navigate their existence. This moment of humor amidst the stark reality of the neighborhood's commerce was a testament to the human capacity to find lightness even in the most unconventional circumstances. The streets of this part of town, with their unique blend of openness and secrecy, served as a stage for the unfolding human drama. Each participant, from the strolling individuals to the transient occupants of passing cars, played their part in a narrative that was at once personal and collective. As the light turned green and we continued on our journey, the scene we had just witnessed lingered in our minds. It was a poignant reminder of the complexity of human interactions and the myriad forms they can take. The laughter that had erupted between Alyssa and me was not merely a response to the actions of Gloria and the car's occupants, it was an expression of our shared humanity, a recognition of the resilience and adaptability that define the human experience. In reflecting on the encounter, it became clear that the dynamics at play were reflective of broader societal themes. The neighborhood, known for its nighttime economy, was a microcosm of the larger world, where individuals pursued their needs and desires in the context of their environment. Gloria's role in this ecosystem was emblematic of the choices and compromises that individuals often face. Her interaction with the car and its occupants was a single thread in the complex fabric of human relationships, highlighting the interplay between autonomy and circumstance. Our laughter, in the face of this encounter, was a bridge between observation and understanding. It underscored our connection to the broader human narrative, a narrative that encompasses a spectrum of experiences and emotions. The brief episode with Gloria, the car, and its passengers was a vivid illustration of life's multifaceted nature. It was a moment that encapsulated the essence of human interaction, the pursuit of connection, the negotiation of boundaries, and the unfolding of individual stories within the communal space. As we moved beyond the traffic light and left the scene behind, the memory of what we had observed remained. It was a reminder of the enduring strength of the human spirit, capable of navigating the complexities of life with a blend of seriousness and levity. In the end, the laughter that Alyssa and I shared was not just about the encounter itself, but about the recognition of our shared journey through the diverse landscapes of human experience. It was a moment that, while fleeting, spoke volumes about the capacity for understanding, empathy, and ultimately, connection that lies at the heart of the human condition. "Sweetie," my wife Alyssa began one bright Saturday morning. "Do you recall our conversation before we got married about me being attracted to both men and women?" "Of course, babe," I replied. "I also remember that I told you that I don't have a problem with that as long as you are honest with me about it. We agreed that it wouldn't be an issue as long as we discussed it beforehand. I also recall that you promised me that you wouldn't do anything that I wasn't also involved with." "Of course, babe. I would never be with anyone without you being involved." I was beginning to get a strange feeling about this conversation. "Well, I have been thinking about a couple of things here. One thing that I didn't mention is that in all my experiences with women, I was the one taking the lead. I enjoy being in control with women. I like exploring dominant roles. I like experimenting with different things." "Okay," I began. We both noticed that I was getting a little too excited. "What are you getting at, babe?" "Well, obviously I won't do anything without your participation, so that limits me to finding women who are open to that or finding someone who is comfortable with it out of necessity. My concern is that I don't really want you to be with another woman. With me being attracted to both genders, but it's different. You understand that there are certain things that another woman can provide that I can't. It would be the same if you were attracted to both genders and I couldn't provide what another man could. That's just biology. I don't want you to be with another woman for two reasons. First is that I can provide you with everything that another woman can, so you don't need that. The second reason is that I don't want to risk any complications, like someone lying about meds and causing potential issues. I want to make sure we're always safe." "Okay, I understand and agree with all that. Since we've already had this discussion, I assume there's a reason you're bringing it up now," I mentioned. "Yes," she responded. "I started thinking about it last week when we saw Gloria on that street corner. It's clear that she is struggling financially. Seriously, why else would an attractive woman resort to odd jobs? She is desperate." I looked at our budget. "Did you realize that we're paying a lot for housekeeping services? We could save money by hiring a full-time live and maid. We have the extra rooms and it wouldn't cost much more to include meals for a third person. We could actually save thousands of dollars and get better service by hiring someone full-time." I liked the idea that Alyssa proposed, but there were several issues that didn't add up. She started talking about being with women dominantly. Somehow that wasn't related to the argument for hiring a full-time maid. Second, she mentioned that this thought process began when she saw Gloria in a difficult situation the week before, yet no mention of that was made after that. "Okay, what you're suggesting makes sense," I said. "Two things though. First, I want to have certain privileges with Gloria. Second, I want to be present for any punishment or discipline." Gloria's arrival at our home marked a pivotal chapter in her life, and indeed in ours as well. The path that led her to us was fraught with challenges, not least of which were the eviction notices and escalating debts that seemed to close in on her from all sides. These were dark times, and for Gloria, they spelled out a stark reality. She was running out of options. It was against this backdrop of uncertainty and despair that she considered the possibility of joining our household. The decision was not made hastily. Gloria understood the gravity of her situation and the implications of her choice. We, on our part, recognized the depth of her plight and were resolved to offer her a chance at a new beginning. However, this new beginning would come with its own set of conditions, ones that were somewhat unconventional, to say the least. Before Gloria could officially become a part of our household, we stipulated that she undergo comprehensive medical evaluations. The health and safety of everyone involved was our paramount concern, and we could not afford to take any risks. Gloria complied, and after a rigorous 6-week course of antibiotics, she was declared free from any health concerns. It was a significant milestone, marking the official start of her new life with us. Alyssa, my wife, took it upon herself to introduce Gloria to the unique aspects of her role within our household. These were not typical duties one might expect, and they required certain personal modifications on Gloria's part. Though hesitant at first, Gloria agreed to these terms. Part of these modifications involved her attire a uniform that struck a balance between professionalism and subtlety, designed to maintain decorum whether we had visitors or if she accompanied us in public. I was grateful for the thoughtfulness that went into choosing an appropriate appearance for Gloria, one that avoided any overt displays relating to her more personal responsibilities. Adjusting to life in our home was challenging for Gloria. Despite her agreement to the terms laid out in her employment contract, she found certain aspects of her duties to be uncomfortable. Over time, it was fascinating to observe Gloria's evolution. Her initial reluctance in certain situations gradually gave way to a growing sense of comfort within the routines and dynamics of our household. A bond began to form between her, Alyssa, and surprisingly, me as well. This development was both unexpected and heartening, with small gestures and changes in Gloria's demeanor hinting at a deepening trust and understanding among us. The birth of our first child introduced new considerations regarding Gloria's role and presence in our home. It became imperative that her interactions and appearance remained appropriate at all times, especially around the children. We introduced a modified uniform for Gloria to wear when the children were present, reflecting our commitment to maintaining a suitable environment for them. As the years passed, the dynamics within our household continued to evolve. Gloria's initial hesitations were replaced by a more comfortable acceptance of her situation. The shared experiences, both challenging and rewarding, helped to forge a bond among us that was stronger than we had anticipated. While Alyssa's playful tendencies sometimes led to moments of tension, these were always resolved through understanding and communication. Our household, unconventional as it may be, is built on principles of respect, consent, and mutual benefit. Gloria, once a stranger facing dire circumstances, has become an indispensable part of our lives. Her journey from a position of vulnerability to one of stability and belonging is a testament to the complex nature of human relationships and our capacity for adaptation and growth. In reflecting on the life we have built together, it's clear that Gloria's presence has enriched us in ways we could not have foreseen. Despite the unconventional nature of our arrangement, the mutual respect and care that have developed among us are undeniable. This experience has served as a reminder that family is not solely defined by blood or traditional norms, but by the bonds of understanding, support, and love that bind us together. The narrative of Gloria integrating into our family and adapting to her unique role underscores the unpredictable journey of human connections. It highlights how individuals, brought together under unconventional circumstances, can form lasting bonds based on mutual respect and understanding. The challenges and triumphs we have faced as a household illustrate the resilience and adaptability of the human spirit and the capacity for growth and change in the face of adversity. As we continue to navigate the complexities of our arrangement, we remain committed to the principles that have guided us thus far. Our story, though unique, offers insights into the broad spectrum of human relationships and the many forms that family can take. It is a testament to the idea that, with empathy and open communication, it is possible to create a nurturing and supportive environment for all involved, regardless of the unconventional paths that may lead us to form such connections. In conclusion, our journey with Gloria has been a profound learning experience, shedding light on the depth and resilience of human bonds. It serves as a powerful reminder of the capacity for empathy, adaptation, and growth that lies within us all. As we move forward, we cherish the rich tapestry of experiences that have shaped our household, grateful for the lessons learned and the unexpected joys that have emerged from our shared path.